Harry is in chaos. His marriage is going downhill, and he just doesn't know what to do. And so now he's trying to revert back to what he does know because that feels comfortable. Forget trying to be out here alone, trying to do some new things with Meghan. He's trying to go back to what he knows and what has always been who he is as a prince. And it's a little too late for that now because we're here to remind people no, Harry, not going to happen. Not going to happen. Meghan is ruthless. She will do any and everything to cause a lot of harm to Harry.
Breaking today, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's Hollywood humiliation continues. We've got the inside details as Canadians beg the desperate couple to stay away. Of course, this is because the duplicitous Duke is bidding to destroy Prince William's perfect royal tour. Look at these very emotional pictures for him standing in some of the spots in Brazil that his mother had previously visited. So, P. Dinah, I'm going to do something different today. I think what Harry has done is so cynical and so desperate. I'm actually going to have a 24-hour blackout on pictures of his royal visit from Canada. Okay, I don't even want to look at them because the thing is, P. Dinah, he is specifically doing this to ambush his brother, to destroy his brother's trip. And for once, I'm not going to play into his hands.
Absolutely. You know, for me, I look at what has happened in the past and where he tried to be transparent about sharing his calendar. You know, he knows that he can do things to ambush other royals. And Harry is showing us clearly that he is not welcome back. He is on the outs and he is not happy about it. He's acting like a man-child and wanting to retaliate. And that's the only reason why he is doing this. And I think that is a really good idea because, you know, this is just Harry acting out and not really coming forth in a good way to support his brother, but clearly with clear intention trying to sabotage him. That right there is just vindictive. It's mean. And it just makes you look very petty.
Totally.
He looks like he's a very petty child.
He does. But the thing is, P. Dinah, it is actually all he's got left because the negative headlines that are spewing out of America at exactly the same time, by the way, that William is receiving the strongest praise for actually turning around the international reputation of the royal family single-handedly after a fortnight of devastating headlines given the Andrew Mountbatten Windsor scandal.
Breaking tonight, Prince Harry is sending up flares that he wants back in the UK, and notably, without Meghan. The marriage looks rocky, the Hollywood shine has dulled, and he's reaching for the one identity that never failed him, the soldier son who speaks the language of remembrance and duty. But wanting back in and being welcomed back are very different things. Britain remembers the interviews, the swipes, the documentaries. A solo return reads like a confession. He misses the only place where he ever truly made sense. The question is whether the palace, or the public, will accept Harry without Meghan when so much of their brand has been built on being inseparable.
Yet this is all Harry and Meghan can manage. Page 6 of the New York Post, a publication that they have spent some time attempting to win over, revealing devastating details about exactly what's going on in terms of their relationship in Hollywood. P. Dinah, I just want to share you some of the details. They write, is the Hollywood show over for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex? A Hollywood source tells Page 6 that when it comes to Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, there is not only no appetite left for them in LA, but they've also worn through any goodwill they had. Another source tells us, so this is a deeply sourced expose, people are sick of them. The act has gotten stale. They're just hopeless in professional settings. And then we get some colour, P. Dinah. This one doesn't surprise me because, of course, we heard it in the past from Spotify executives. But they write, we're told Harry even allegedly showed up late to a Netflix meeting and then asked an executive, so not an assistant, not a runner, not a courtier that he's used to, an executive who's paying his wages for a cup of hot chocolate. This is apparently his go-to beverage of choice. The story echoes a similar claim made by a Spotify employee who told Vanity Fair that Harry asked for the same drink, but there was none in the office, so employees scrambled to obtain some. Then on Meghan Markle, these Hollywood sources tell the New York Post she's convinced she's smarter than everyone and dismissive. Another source tells us that Meghan is the one in the couple who controls everything. So, P. Dinah, I mean, on the day that Harry's attempting to overshadow William's South American visit, actually his own visit to Canada, overshadowed by more damning headlines about how his Hollywood career is effectively at an end.
It is over. What are they going to do now? I mean, Harry is in a position, like what you said. What does he have left? He doesn't really have any opportunities where he's at now. It's very interesting that people are speaking their truth about Harry and Meghan, and they're just really vile, nasty creatures who really don't want to do right. They don't know how to do right because they feel so entitled. And Harry is at a point now, I think, where he's just going to start doing some things that you would have never thought someone like Harry would do, because he doesn't have anything that is going to help him move forward with a decent career that's going to yield him anything financially. So he has to go to doing other things that I think is not going to be very becoming of someone like a Prince Harry. Hollywood is completely turned on them. What can you do now? I mean, his brother is shining and doing things beautifully. I mean, I just enjoyed seeing all the pictures that were coming out with Prince William. He just gives you these feel-good moments. And then when you see Harry, you look at someone who is miserable, who is just dirty and hits below the belt because he doesn't have anything. And Meghan is the one calling all the shots. All you have to do to look at what's going to happen to Harry is to know that Meghan is behind everything, to know Harry's life, the future, everything is going to be completely, is ruining itself in real time. It's going to get worse and worse for him.
I think Harry is now openly hinting at a UK return. This suggests things within the marriage are as bad as we have been saying for some time. Because what else would explain the fact, P. Dinah, that in a new article ahead of this Canadian trip, he has said he currently lives in the UK. And as Tom Sykes says, that comment is likely to spark speculation that Harry doesn't see America as his forever home. Let me take you through this reporting, P. Dinah, from the Royalist blog. Prince Harry has inadvertently, but was it inadvertent? That's my question. I'm not sure. Sparked speculation about plans long denied by his team that he one day plans to return to the UK by saying he currently lives in the US. He recently told a podcaster he had no plans to become a US citizen. He made the new remark not in an off-the-cuff interview, but in a written article distributed on global newswires about Remembrance and Veterans Day celebrations which take place all this week. Harry has provoked suspicions he is trying to take attention off his brother Prince William by travelling to Canada to support such causes today, the same day William presents his Earthshot Awards in Brazil. In an article entitled "The Bond, the Banter, the Bravery, What It Means to be British," Harry, who moved to the United States 5 years ago, paid special tribute to the wounded Ukrainian servicemen and women he spent time with earlier this year at the Superhumans Rehab Hospital in Kiev. He said, "These people reminded me that bravery is not the absence of fear, but the triumph of purpose over it." Then he said, "There is a similar stoic spirit of self-deprecation and humour in Ukrainians that I recognise more than any other in us Brits. Though currently I may live in the United States, Britain is and always will be the country I proudly served and fought for. The banter of the mess house, the banter of the mess, the clubhouse, the pub, the stands, ridiculous as it sounds, these are the things that make us British. I make no apology for it. I love it." But as Tom Sykes says, the comment is likely to provoke raised eyebrows at the palace and more vocal criticism online, where Harry is often accused of betraying Britain by attacking its monarchy and overstating his active military service. So, P. Dinah, I have so much to say on this because I'm not going to be suckered by this. No way. Just because he's now gone to the US and revealed quite predictably, oh, this isn't quite what I thought it was going to be. I mean, he made it very clear in that podcast interview last week, there's lots of things I'm not certain about in terms of the US. And we know a lot of that is connected, of course, to Trump and what he sees as a rollback of democracy. But I'm sorry, Harry, you didn't just slag off the British monarchy. You slagged off Brits. I will never forget the Netflix documentary when you attacked us, for example, for voting to Brexit. Well, over 50% of Brits voted to leave the European Union, P. Diner. He attacked the majority of the country as being racist, as being backward. So this idea that all of a sudden he can say, oh, I'm really missing Britain now, so I'm always going to be British, and actually, I'm really proud of us. No, I'm not going to be sucked in by that because you talk about the banter. Your banter is over, Harry, because you've turned into a deeply destructive, very negative person. But it's fascinating, isn't it, P. Diner, that all of a sudden he seems to be making out America ain't his forever home.
William lands in Brazil and resets the royal mood with earthshot optimism. Almost on the beat, Harry unveils a remembrance swing in Canada, and critics call it counter-programming. It's the same sibling rivalry in a fresh costume. William, the steady statesman. Harry, the soldier poet. Online. Even Canadians bristle, some still sniping about that Dodgers cap, while William's images from Brazil float across front pages like a sigh of relief. If Harry hoped to eclipse his brother, he may have achieved the opposite. He spotlighted the contrast. William looks effortless and ascending. Harry looks restless and returning. And that return reads loudest because Meghan is not beside him.
Yes. And you know what I find so interesting is how he wants to have his hand in social media and freedom of speech, because I think he looks at that as something that is a constant reminder to the things that he has said. Like, he wants to stifle our voices because we will remind people about the things that he has said. We remind people about him being on that freedom flight. He is the one that has said some really bad things and has shown himself to want to distance himself from his family, the UK, the people. And now he's trying to turn back to try to come back to, being who he originally is. And now he finds that he has to try to attack us because we will always remember what he has done. We're never going to forget. And that's what he doesn't like, because he wants to now cover up, the things that he's done in the past, because things have shifted so much for him in California with Meghan. His eyes have slowly opened to the reality that we all saw from the very beginning. And he doesn't like it. He really does not want people to really see what happened before. He wants to cover it up. Just like when he talked about his family is not racist, not the family he knows, but we clearly heard the things that he and his wife said during Netflix and the award that they got for racism, So Harry is just very sketchy in everything. He has no clear purpose, alignment with anything that is substantial. He doesn't know if he's coming or going. He is in chaos right now. That is what it is. Harry is in chaos. His marriage is going downhill and he just doesn't know what to do. And so now he's trying to revert back to what he does know, because that feels comfortable. Forget trying to be out here alone, trying to do some new things with Meghan. He's trying to go back to what he knows and what has always been who he is as a prince. And it's a little too late for that now, because we're here to remind people, no, Harry, not going to happen. Not going to happen.
Totally. And P. Diner, the problem is everyone's turning. I mean, even the Canadians, obviously I'm doing this blackout today, but even the Canadians don't want him there. Look at this headline. Furious Canadians turn on Prince Harry as he announces Toronto visit, days after supporting the Dodgers at the World Series, which was again a decision that Meghan Markle forced him to do. And as the Royal News Network posted, apparently no one wants Prince Harry in Canada, and I can't blame them. All he had to do was not cosplay as a Dodger fan with his wife for PR. And that's exactly what the Mail report is making clear. They write, days after he donned a Dodgers hat during the World Series, Canadians were in no mood to read the news that Prince Harry was planning a visit to Toronto. CTV News reported that Harry would be in Toronto this week, with his office confirming that he'd be arriving today for a series of events to support the Canadian Armed Forces and veteran community. However, after he supported the Dodgers over the Blue Jays during the Fall Classic, many Canadians weren't thrilled by the news of his upcoming visit. Will he be wearing his LA Dodgers hat? One wrote under a post from CP24. 2024. A week late, a second said, who really cares? Stop giving free publicity to an extremely wealthy, extremely privileged, extremely spoiled narcissist who is disloyal to his own father, who just so happens to be the King of Canada. And so again, P. Diner, he was so unhappy at that event with Meghan Markle. It was so obvious he didn't want to be there, but of course it was something he was dragged to because she was launching her Was Never products that day. But now it's impacted his visit to Canada. And remember, he knew at that point, P. Diner, that he was going to be visiting Canada. He just hadn't released the grenade because he didn't want William to know about it too early.
Isn't it interesting how Meghan just sabotages Harry? Like, that's your husband. I mean, you do all these things to put him in these positions, and what Harry just has to deal with it. He doesn't have a choice. I mean, this is a man that has literally been stripped of everything, even his own voice. You know, this Meghan talks about getting her voice. Yeah, she took away her husband's voice too. He doesn't have a say. And so he has to go there trying to now explain, supporting the Dodgers. And he's in Toronto trying to, I don't know, still show support for, the Blue Jays. So what do? I mean, you really are the victim of your wife. She is the one that has put you in these compromising positions. I mean, it's really quite sad to see Harry go through these things alone, essentially. I mean, Meghan doesn't care. And it's going to absolutely, I think, get worse when there is more divide between them, because when these little things are starting to happen, they are definitely insight into what will happen when it becomes a lot more serious. And you can see Meghan is ruthless. She will do any and everything to cause a lot of harm to Harry. These little things really are the future of big things, is how I see it.
Totally. And another headline today, P. Diner, Prince Harry isn't loving Meghan Markle posting pictures of him and their children on social media. Again, that is something we have been reporting for many months, but these stories are not going away. The tension is increasing in that marriage.
Personally, the seams show reports of tension over family posts, over who steers the message, over who gets to be the star. Professionally, the industry glow faded. Promises outpaced delivery. Meetings and headlines didn't translate into momentum. Strategically, the palace math is simple. Solo Harry is easier to place. Remembrance events, Invictus adjacent moments, no balcony, no bombshells, while joint appearances reignite the noise. And threading through it all is Meghan's ambition, interpreted by critics as queen energy without a crown. If Harry wants the door cracked, coming alone is the only play that doesn't spook the horses.
Yeah. What can Harry do at this point? I think he really needs to start putting his foot down in a way that shows that he is not going to tolerate it, because Meghan is nothing without Harry. Really, she's nothing without him. But it's interesting that he feels like he can't say or do anything. I mean, we hear about these reports in the media. Well, what are you saying to your wife at home in real time? I mean, you talk about how you don't like these things to the press, but you don't have the courage to say it directly to your wife. I mean, that says so much, that you are, having these gripes that we hear about in the press, but your wife is not being told these things by you. That is very revealing. This man has been compromised. I think he is lost in a very big way. And I can only imagine what that means for the royal family, because of their connection really still to Harry. I mean, he's still the prince. He's still on the website. There's still some connection there, but he does not have a voice. It's all being run by Meghan. So what now? I mean, it's very concerning, I think, even for the royal family at this point, that we clearly see he is not having any kind of say when it comes to his wife.
And P. Diner, we know what his wife's priority is, and it is desperately receiving celebrity endorsements. She's cock-a-hoop today because somehow she's got Oprah Winfrey back on stage. Take a look at this. This came from the As Ever mail out earlier today. Oh yes, we're in Oprah's favorite things list for Christmas. I mean, there it is, the marmalade, the spread, and the strawberry jam. This is the note that was released with it. We know this was written by Meghan. We're over the moon to spread the news. Our signature fruit spread gift box is on Oprah's favourite things this year. As Oprah says on oprahdaily.com, before my neighbour Meghan started her business, she shared her homemade recipes with us. I love to drizzle it on an English muffin or yogurt or ice cream. I also love bringing a jam or preserves as a hostess gift. And with this pretty box set of orange marmalade and raspberry and strawberry spreads, just add a bow and you're ready to go. We're honoured to be included. This is Meghan again in the season's quintessential guide to gifting. So much love is poured into each recipe to bring the brightness and warmth of the garden to your home in every season. She then offers a special discount and says share a box with someone you love and make sure you squirrel away a few for yourself while you're still in socks. So this is like a desperate bid. And Tom Sykes has a very interesting take on this, because it's about the relationship between Meghan and Oprah, which has been very up and down. And he writes, Meghan finally gets endorsed by her neighbor, but it has been a long time coming. Dinah, as we know. He writes, Meghan and Oprah's on again, off again, intensely transactional relationship has become one of the defining dynamics of the Sussex era. Oprah was the force who first projected Meghan and Harry's grievances to the world. The 2021 interview was a career-defying triumph for all involved. The Sussexes gained emotional validation and a global platform. Oprah delivered the biggest royal scoop of the decade. That moment framed the couple as David versus the Windsor Goliath, underdogs speaking truth to power. Meghan shared her mental health crisis and explosive allegations of racist concerns about Archie's skin tone. The institution was shaken. Public sympathy surged. The Montecito neighborliness with Oprah symbolized a new celebrity activist alignment, positioning the couple alongside her and other figures of moral authority. But Oprah, ever protective of her own credibility, has appeared reluctant to repeat the scandal of endorsing the Sussexes since, until now, albeit with more of a jam jar gesture than a grand statement. So how have they managed to get Oprah back on board, Dinah, and what the hell is she thinking?
Well, perhaps maybe Meghan has promised Oprah something, an exclusive, maybe. I think there's definitely something in it for Oprah. She's not going to just do that without getting something out of it. To me, it looks like what the article is saying, transactional relationship that they have. And we'll just have to wait and see what that might be. But you just don't, I think, get on with Oprah like this when in the past it's been very sketchy. And to now see Oprah on board, to me, shows that something may have transpired where Oprah is going to be getting some kind of exclusive or something for doing this. I can't imagine that really is one of her favorite things, honestly, because usually Oprah's favorite things are really unique, quirky things that are really high quality, very on the higher end of things that you would never normally buy. And to me, Meghan's jam, whatever, just seems so ordinary and plain. It doesn't seem like it could be a favorite thing. I mean, really, jam, Oprah? Yeah, to me.
Come on, if anyone is buying you those overpriced marmalades as your Christmas gift, wasting about $65 in the process, you're not going to be thanking Oprah. Seriously, no one's happy with that. No one is happy with that. So what Oprah has done yet again is put her own credibility on the line. Dinah, I did want to return to William in Brazil because, of course, he delivered quite a major speech overnight. Watch this.
Tonight, we've heard powerful voices from Indigenous leaders and government ministers to corporate CEOs and environmental crime experts. Each speech shows us that even in the face of immense challenge, optimism remains. The commitments they announced here today serve to remind us not only of the urgency with which we need to act, but also of the opportunities that lie ahead. We all know that we face a nature crisis, with global biodiversity decreasing, climate change accelerating, and environmental crime fueling ecological decline. As we've heard this evening, environmental crime is now one of the most profitable and damaging forms of transnational crime. In the past year alone, over 1.7 million hectares of the Amazon were cleared across this region. much of which is driven by illicit activity.
P. Dinah, how is this trip going down in America?
Well, for us here, we are very much aligned with Prince William. I don't find anything negative about Prince William and the work that he is doing. He really represents the crown beautifully here. And the work that he is doing is very substantial, I think, and it speaks to people. They take William very seriously. I mean, he's known all around the world. He gets so many people to come out and support him. And we just love him, his family. And we're excited about the work that he is doing. He had the Earthshot Prize Awards in Boston here in 2022 that I went to, and he was beloved by so many people. It was so many people outside cheering William and Catherine on. We just love William, and of course, Catherine's not with him this time, but it's just really great to see. And the work that he is doing is very meaningful, and it speaks to a lot of people, and he does it in such a classy way. The way he supports his initiatives, they come off very genuine and thought-provoking, and he just seems like a very caring, almost an image of his mother. He just has that feeling, that vibe that has transcended through from his mother, and we like it. Yeah.
And it has been a difficult day for William and Catherine too, with the news that one of their former university acquaintances, Ben Duncan, who actually became a high society figure here in the UK after his appearance on the Big Brother reality show, plunged 100 feet to his death from the rooftop bar at an iconic London hotel, the Trafalgar Hotel. I mean, that goes for £1,000 a night. This was just such sad news, P. Dinah.
Oh my goodness. Yes, it's so sad. It seems like there's something amiss with that. I just don't see how that happens. I mean, he was at a bar, so maybe there was alcohol involved. I don't know, but very, very sad to see such a young person with their whole life ahead of them to die so senselessly. That is very shocking to see something like that happen.
Very, very shocking news. And of course, he was there on that famous night when William saw Catherine sashay down the runway looking spectacular, and royal history was made. So rest in peace, Ben Duncan, an acquaintance, a university acquaintance of William and Catherine, but also a reality TV star of Big Brother, one of my favorite shows here in the United Kingdom.
There are 3 ways this goes. The Quiet Bridge. Limited, apolitical appearances in the UK, private meetings, contrition without a microphone, no collisions with William, no fresh memoirs, trust rebuilt by silence, the conditional comeback, a probation year in which he proves he can show up for service, not spectacle, one misstep and it's over. The rejection twist. The palace says, not yet. The public shrugs, and Harry finds himself stranded, too far from Britain to belong, too far from Meghan to persuade. Bottom line, a solo return is Harry admitting who he is when the cameras are off. But Palace is open for strategy, not sentiment. If he wants back in, without Meghan, he'll need less performance, more service, and a calendar that respects the crown he keeps challenging.